Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the P Dog Night channel. Before I get started, I thought I would tell a little story because it is the Christmas season, and I think we always need to learn about some of the traditions. Whether you are Christian or not, it's always good to know about some of the traditions of Christmas. And this little story I'm going to tell before I play the intro will give you a sense of where some of our our Christmas traditions come from. Santa Claus, Father Christmas, was not a long time ago, many years ago. Father Christmas was not having a very good day. He was in a bad frame of mind. In fact, he was kind of depressed. He was very depressed. That morning after breakfast, Mrs. Claus had told him that his mother-in-law was coming over to stay for a while, and you knew that would mean she'd be there for several weeks. And as Christmas was approaching, her visit was the last thing that he wanted. The elves had gone on strike for more pay, and the replacement elves were just slow. They weren't putting in the work. The number of toys that had been made was way down. Father Christmas went to visit his reindeer and found that two of them were pregnant, and another two had kicked down the fence and had disappeared into the forest. He was now getting more depressed. "What I need is a drink," he thought. But upon going indoors, he found that the elves had hidden his whiskey, and there was nothing left to drink in his liquor cabinet. So he decided just, to get some coffee. And he went into the kitchen, but managed to drop the jar of coffee all over the floor. Now he was really just pissed off. He went to fetch a broom to sweep up the mess, but found that the mice had chewed off the broom's bristles. And at that moment, there was a knock on the door. Upon opening it, Santa Claus was confronted by a beautiful fairy holding the most lovely Christmas tree you would ever see. "Good morning, Santa," she called. "Isn't it really a lovely day? I've brought you this beautiful Christmas tree. Isn't it beautiful? Where would you like me to stick it?" And that is why, by tradition, we have a fairy sitting on top of our Christmas tree. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog Studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, P Dog Night. And stop the music. Welcome to the Morning Night Live on this Christmas Eve, December 23rd, 2019. It's Monday, and I am so happy that you are here. People are strolling in, and I am ready. I'm ready for you. I have my cup of reparations coffee, and it is delicious. And, I just have some... I was planning the show kind of over the weekend. As I was reading stories, I decided I would just bookmark a bunch of stories, and we'd just, we'd go through some of them today. Now, there is breaking news today, too. Interesting. We'll get to that when we get into Twitter trends, because it's starting to move up the Twitter ladder there on the Twitter trends. So we'll talk about that later. It's not, it's kind of a continuation of a story from over the last couple of years. But we're just gonna get into just some of the bookmarks. I bookmarked a whole bunch of stuff, and we're gonna do what we can do to make sure that we entertain and yet inform. But prior to doing that, of course, like I always try to do early in the show, I want to say hi to the people who are here because people are rolling in pretty quick, and I really love that. So, first I'm going to say hi to Sheograth, because Sheograth was here first and gets the bell. Thank you for being here, Sheograth. C. Thomas, I've missed you. I'm glad you're back. I'm Gulf City Peninsula with the prerequisite penis in the chat. And good morning, Duck Dog, Green Thunder Demighty, Maniac Man, MC Hammer Time, Necrosol Collins, Green Thunder Demighty, Tyler F, and Arms Killer. Ah, you're new. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're already entertained too. That's fantastic. So let's just get into it because I got a whole bunch of bookmarks here. Thank you, by the way, to Tyler F and Necrosol, aka Necro, for retweeting out the show. Please, while you're here, if you like what we do, hit the like button. And good morning, Jason Burns too. Also, if you like what we do, hit the like button. But most importantly, hit the share arrow, which is right down here. Hit the share and share this out on social media, or you can just retweet the tweet. I put it in the chat. In fact, there it is in the chat again. That's my tweet from this morning, putting the show out. And then also, if you want to do super chats or donate to the show, donate to P-Dog, who tries to entertain you on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. You can do that in the Streamlabs link in the description down below. I have some surprises for people who... I changed all my little alerts for Streamlabs, so I have new little animations and stuff. I hope you like them, but now let's see, because at the $2 mark, there's one at $5. Oh, there's $2.99, $3.99, and $4.99, and then anything over $5, anything over $10, anything over $20, and then the highest super chat of the day has a very special animation that I'm sure that many of you like. So there you go. First time. Well, there you go. I'm glad you're here, Arms Killer. That is great. Your first time. Good morning, Smarty Bear, also. All right, let's get into it because I bookmarked a whole just ton of crap over the weekend. And it's kind of going to be a little bit random, but it's it's all interesting to me. And we're going to start out. A lot of you know that J.K. Rowling got into some trouble last week. On the day of when they impeached President Trump, she ended up trending number one. You'd think impeachment would be number one, but J.K. Rowling really riled up the woke crowd. And it's funny because there's still people tweeting about it over the weekend. And this is from December 19th. This is way back. But anyway, but there's still people just bitching about J.K. Rowling. And, for example, this tweet here, this person named Dr. Lisa. Oh, well, I don't know who needs to hear this. J.K. Rowling. But biological sex is very complicated, not binary. And there is extensive variation within the sexes. This was literally the topic of my dissertation. Signed an actual biologist? To simply, I think she meant to put it simply, trans women are women and real. Well, I'm sure that you did do your dissertation on this. But variants are not necessarily the rule. And it's amazing that, of course, in schools today, your dissertation may have gotten an A because it was very well written, or however that works when you're writing your dissertation. But, for the most basic part of it, the most basic part of reproduction, we do still consider male and female to be a thing. Now, granted, there are anomalies. You get the intersex people who maybe have an extra chromosome here or an extra chromosome there, or different variation of those, but they're extremely rare, and they are not. And I don't ever want to disparage those people, ever. But a variation does not mean that it's not binary. Okay? Just like a person with Down syndrome is a variation. But you're not creating a whole new class of human just because someone has Down syndrome. It's just an anomaly that causes a certain variation. But when we're talking reproduction, there's still a basic two parts to it, at least in mammals, in all mammals. And a lot of people, it's funny because people have been wanting to decide that this is between, what's the word here? Gender. They're saying, oh, well, gender. Gender is a social construct. But, if gender is a social construct, then I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Is that what we're saying when we say gender is a social construct? Because are social constructs wrong? Streetlights are a social construct. But are they real? Sure they are. I don't know why I started with this topic. I really didn't mean to, but it is complicated in all mammals. Oh, here we go. It is complicated, but in all mammals, the viable variants are male and female. They are sexually dimorphic, genetic abnormalities. And I say anomalies because some people get really upset if you call it an abnormality. Even though it's an abnormality is just something that is not the most common or the norm, and it's not an epithet. It's not a put down. It's just an abnormality, just like something having Down syndrome. That's an abnormality. It doesn't you're not judging the person. Genetic abnormalities that stray too far from these various categories of intersex are largely non-viable genetic dead ends, unable to replicate via sexual reproduction. That is correct. Most people who have intersex conditions cannot reproduce, and so we're talking about sex being related to reproduction. Now, inevitably, somebody is going to say, well, she says it right here. Unable to reproduce doesn't make them less real. No, you're right. It doesn't make them less real people. Nor does someone who's gone through menopause or had a hysterectomy any less of a woman than prior to menopause or a hysterectomy. They're still women because they had the parts, okay? And I just, gosh, this trying to make that there's more than one sex, or more than two sexes. Oh, it's this. I'm getting the idea that this woman's dissertation had an agenda, okay? And I don't think J.K. Rowling said anything really wrong. All she was saying that the sex is real, and there's concerns you have via your physiology, and so that's another reason I usually, instead of saying biological sex, I usually say the words physiological sex, because when we're talking about people who are going to, people in reproduction, you have to have the physiology to reproduce. Or when you're talking about sports, physiological males, I don't think should be competing against physiological females in most sports. Now, granted, there's sports like, I don't know, shooting sports or things like that where it doesn't make a huge difference. But certainly anything that has to do with strength, speed, endurance. And in fact, there are some sports that where they found that women's endurance is an advantage. For example, extreme marathoning, not necessarily like a 26-mile marathon, but like people who don't do 100-mile marathons. There's some evidence that women have more endurance than men. But in any case, it's just one of those things. I can't believe that, it's just turned into a shit show. So, interesting. Some of the comments to this woman, to this woman, to simplify, look at me, look at my writings, let me make this about me. I pretend to represent an entire field when in fact I'm an unqualified ambassador for a radical minority that has recently infected a methodology previously referred to as science. And she replies, I mean, this isn't about me as a cis woman, but yeah, I'm going to correct ignorance. Well, it's not ignorance. But it's funny. It's the fields of science being infected by wokeness is becoming a bit problematic, so to speak. That's a good word for it. Last week I told you that I was getting tons of replies referring to the Army-Navy game when the different cadets and midshipmen were flashing the circle game. They were showing you the circle, right? The circle for the circle game, the hole, because we called it hole back in the day. This represents an asshole, and if you see the asshole, you got to get it punched in the arm. People are still bitching about that too. Oh my God. Just crazy shit over the weekend. Anyway, a couple people have popped in since I started. Good morning to Irish Rose, my dear. Hello. And Chief Fuzzy Beard of Gulf City. Good morning. I think I said hi to you, Maniac Man. Yes, I did. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm keeping up here. All right. What else do I got in the bookmarks? Let me click along here. Oh God. So my next one that I chose for today is Maxine Waters. Auntie Maxine. Oh my God, this woman is insane. So I think you can FTG all you want, Necrosol. You know what? Let's do this. Even though it's Christmas week, it kind of feels like a Thursday because tomorrow is Christmas Eve, which is kind of like a Friday. So if you all want to FTG some of these people, please feel free to FTG. In fact, you could FTG Maxine Waters right off the bat because California Representative Maxine Waters called on the Senate to remove President Trump from office before he agrees to let Russian President Vladimir Putin into the White House. I think Putin's been to the White House a couple times, I'm pretty sure. Waters, 81, urged the Senate to follow through with the impeachment and removal of Trump because she thinks he has already proven to be Putin's puppet. She warned that Trump will continue to push Russian propaganda if he is not stripped of his power by the Senate. You know, this nutcase, remember she was one of the people who was calling for the impeachment of President Trump before he became president? She wanted to, oh my God. Anyway, revelation by former White House official. This is Maxine Waters. Revelation by former White House officials prove what we've known all along. Trump is Putin's puppet. Trump repeated Putin's talking point that Ukraine, not Russia, interfered in the 2016 election. Mark my words, if the Senate doesn't remove him, Trump will invite Putin to the White House next year, the congresswoman tweeted. She also said it, actually. I don't know if I have the clip, but she said it literally on a news show. Waters' point about former White House officials confirming that Trump believed Ukraine was responsible for the 2016 election meddling came in the wake of a Washington Post report that included interviews from unnamed White House sources about Trump's faith in Putin. Now, here's the other thing. What's crazy about this? Okay, so they're talking about White House officials that confirmed Trump believed Ukraine was responsible for the 2016 election meddling. And they're saying that not Russia at all. I don't believe that storyline, okay? Because the Russians, the Chinese, the Israelis, all sorts of people have meddled, so to speak, in our elections, you know, in really ways that haven't affected any of the elections. Remember, they have yet to quantify this supposed election meddling, but the idea that there was no meddling by Ukraine, I mean, that we've had articles in the papers, in Politico, the big article in 2017 saying that the Ukrainians were trying to wanted Hillary Clinton to be elected, and they made steps and made speeches and all that stuff. It's documented already. Now, granted, they're talking about the whole CrowdStrike thing, and we'll get into that in a minute because that's one of my bookmarks also. But it's just one of those. They're not saying that the Russians didn't do some election meddling. They're saying that someone in Ukraine also was doing election meddling. That's different than what they're saying here. One official said Trump would say, "This is ridiculous. Everyone knows I won the election, the greatest election in the world. The Russians didn't do anything. The Ukrainians tried to do something." Yeah, whatever. Waters may be excited about the thought of the Senate removing Trump, but for now, Speaker Nancy Pelosi still has the ball in her court. She has refused to turn the articles of impeachment over to the Senate until she agrees to their rules for the trial. Well, then they may never be turned over, and I think the Senate could give a fuck. I just stopped myself. Good morning, Blind Press, and Maddie House, a geek, a.k.a. Maddie's the news chick. I see you all just showed up. I'm glad you're here. So anyway, yeah, Auntie Maxine has lost her fucking mind. Yeah, it's funny. Well, we'll get into another topic here in a minute, but by the way, here's a reminder. Here's your daily reminder that of why Brennan and the CIA are responsible for practically everything. Okay, this is a pretty good thread. That's why I marked it. So this is someone called the War Economy, and he changed his name to the Santa Economy because it's cute. Okay, here's a threadly reminder why Brennan and the CIA are responsible for practically everything. This will cover information I've already covered, but it's always good to have a reminder. By the way, there is somebody who was from the NSA who's cooperating with John Durham, the Connecticut U.S. attorney from Connecticut, who's investigating all this crap. And yeah, the guy from the NSA is a former admiral. He had the NSA for a while, and he was part of the NSA. He's cooperating. That can't be good for some particular people, and I'm thinking maybe John Brennan. Maxine Waters is an unhinged James Brown impersonator. Thank you. Thank you, C. Thomas. Oh, good morning, Pincalo, also. All right, so here we go. The first week of August 2016, Brennan contacted Avril Haines via telephone as he had received intelligence about Putin. So here's the thing here. In early August, Brennan alerted senior White House officials to the Putin intelligence, making a call to Deputy National Security Advisor Avril Haines and pulling National Security Advisor Susan Rice aside after a meeting before briefing Obama along with Rice, Haines, and McDonough in the Oval Office. Okay, the intelligence was from a source that Brennan had used when he intentionally kept out of the presidential daily brief. It was a report that Putin had directly ordered a cyber campaign to disrupt the U.S. presidential race to help Trump. Now, so here it is. Inside was intelligence bombshell report drawn from a source saying deep inside the Russian government that detailed Russian President Vladimir Putin's direct involvement in a cyber campaign to disrupt and discredit the U.S. presidential race. But it went further. The intelligence captured Putin's specific instructions on the operation's audacious objectives, defeat or at least damage the Democratic nominee, Hillary Clinton, and help her opponent, Donald Trump. That included one particularly valuable source who is considered so sensitive that Mr. Brennan had declined to refer it to in any way in the presidential daily brief during the final months of the Obama administration as the Russia investigation intensified. Instead, to keep the information from being shared widely, Mr. Brennan sent reports from the source to Mr. Obama and a small group of top national security aides in a separate white envelope to assure its security. Now, you would think if this is a case, again, this is the idea that they never briefed Trump that someone in his organization, when they were talking about Papadopoulos and Carter Page, they never briefed him and said, you know what, you might have a problem in your organization. They let it ride. Anyway, the source is a senior Russian official who relocated to Washington under the United States government protection using his real name. 2 former FBI officials told NBC News they believe he is the source. Hang on a second here. So here it is. Senior Russian official living in the Washington area under U.S. government protection. Current and former government officials tell NBC News. Yet the former Russian official who had a job with access to secrets was living openly under his true name. NBC has not confirmed that the Russian living near the nation's capital fed the CIA information about Russian election interference, but for reasons that NBC News is withholding, he fits the profile of someone who may have had access to information about Putin's activities. Blah, 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 blah. The move of the intelligence source happened soon after May 2017 meeting between Trump and Lavrov, a classified information meeting. This was the same time Trump fired Comey, which led the FBI opening an investigation on him. Well, wait a minute. They opened that investigation a long time before that. Anyway, in a previously undisclosed secret mission, 2017, the United States successfully extracted from Russia one of its highest level covert sources inside the Russian government. Multiple Trump administration officials with direct knowledge told CNN. A person directly involved in the discussion said that the removal of the Russian was driven in part by concerns that Donald Trump and his administration repeatedly mishandled classified intelligence, exposing the covert source as a spy. The decision to carry out the extraction occurred soon after May 2017 meeting in the Oval Office, which Trump discussed highly classified intelligence with Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and then Russian ambassador Russian ambassador to the U.S. Sergei Kislyak. The intelligence concerning ISIS in Syria had been provided by Israel. Oh no! In the days after Trump fired James B. Comey as FBI director, law enforcement officials became so concerned by the president's behavior that they began investigating whether he had been working on behalf of Russia. Now, the funny thing about this, they had been investigating this for months and months. They were saying this, okay, they said this inquiry, let's see. According to former law enforcement officials and others familiar with the investigation, the inquiry carried explosive implications. Counterintelligence investigators had to consider whether the president's own actions constituted a possible threat. Now, these are all MSM news stories. Also sought whether to determine Trump was knowingly working for Russia or had unwittingly falling under Moscow influence. That they already knew by this time that he wasn't. So what is this report? I saved this. There's a department within the Central Intelligence Agency known as the Counterintelligence Mission Center. This department helped trigger the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. The intelligence source was also cultivated by Central Intelligence Agency for years. I wonder if it was Carter Page. As I'm reading this, I didn't read this whole thing, so I'm just trying to get here now. The center works more closely with the FBI than almost any other CIA department does, officials said, and continues to pursue leads on Moscow's election interference operation that could factor in the probe led by Special Counsel Robert Mueller. So this is back, let's see, the most prominent of the CIA sources of intelligence on Russia's election interference was a person close to Mr. Putin who provided information about his involvement, former officials have said. The source turned over evidence for one of the last major intelligence conclusions that President Barack Obama made public before leaving office, that Mr. Putin himself was behind the Russian hack. There is a problem with this. There's a big problem with this. There are people from the intelligence community who say that the Russians didn't hack the DNC. As recent established the Crossfire Hurricane opened on July 31st, 2016. The FBI did not know which suspects to investigate. On August 10th, cases were opened into Page, Papadopoulos, and Manafort. The Page... The Page investigation was open because of the FISA warrants that included the Steele dossier. The Papadopoulos investigation was started because of the conversation with Joseph Mifsud, who now they're saying he might be dead, and his conversation with Stephen Halper. The Manafort investigation was information received from a foreign government, paid for by the Clinton and campaign and the DNC. Holy shit. The information in the envelope, the CIA breakdown, happened at a time where Trump had secured the GOP nomination. The nomination was secured on July 19, 2016. It should also be noted that, it should also be noted that the Counterintelligence Mission Center is being looked into by John Durham as part of his investigation. With the envelope received, now here's the problem. What they're finding out, and you're probably going to hear when Durham comes out, apparently Comey had already approved some, let's just say, looking into Trump prior to that July 16th date. Now that's important because they all say that this Crossfire Hurricane investigation started in July. But apparently there's evidence that it started before that, and that's what John Durham is looking into. But the envelope, now they got, here they go. So one of the CIA officers he wants to question works at the agency's Counterintelligence Mission Center. That would have been one of the conduits for the CIA to pass intelligence to the FBI. So the CIA is passing this information on. But we don't know where the CIA is necessarily getting this information from. Passed intelligence to the FBI about Russian attempts to reach out to the Trump campaign or information that the agency covered about Moscow's interference campaign. CIA officers at the center work closely with the FBI in complex cases like hunting down traitors and helping validate the agency's informants. With the envelope received, the deputies' principals meeting, commenced with zero video of the Situation Room allowed and the same secrecy as the raid on Osama bin Laden. The meetings were attended by Rice, Monaco, Haynes, Brennan, Clapper, Comey, and Lynch. During one of these meetings, Comey informed the attendees about an investigation into Russian collusion with 4 members of the Trump campaign to Obama. This would take place after August 21st, as Obama was in Martha's Vineyard, and Flynn's investigation was open August 16th. The secret intelligence also caused John Brennan to form a secret task force at CIA headquarters, which featured analysts and officers from the CIA, the NSA, and the FBI. The secret task force at CIA headquarters also included the Crossfire Hurricane investigation team. This was because Brennan had provided the information mid-August to Comey showing that the Russians was behind an attack on the 2016 election. And yet, they indicted some people from Russia. But you notice how they've never put any of their proof of this out there yet? And it's just assumed that they have. Like everyone just says, oh, it's certain that the Russians interfered in our election. But the only sources they have for that, meaning they were basically talking about the DNC hack or DNC download or whatever happened to those DNC servers that have never been seen by the FBI. Only the company CrowdStrike has seen those servers, and it's weird. There's another thread here that I'll show you in a minute that kind of gives you the background on CrowdStrike. So Brennan's secret task force also featured 6 different units working with him: the FBI, Treasury Department, Department of Justice, CIA, ODNI, and NSA. As a part of this effort, in October 2016, a deputies meeting was held in the event Trump lost the election to push for congressional Republicans, former presidents, former cabinet-level officials to back up the intelligence community conclusions that Russia helped Trump. But we don't have any proof of that. And and again, the fact that they've never quantified this. Now, the intelligence community assessment also mentions that the CIA and the FBI, not the NSA, have high confidence in the judgment that Putin ordered an influence campaign in the 2016 election. Now, this is the part that is hilarious to me. Okay? Because the intelligence community assessment from the the DNI, ODNI, Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the ODNI report, high confidence. Here it is. We assess Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered an influence campaign in the 2016 aimed at the U.S. presidential election. Russian goals were to undermine public faith in the U.S. democratic process, to denigrate Hillary Clinton, and harm her electability and potential presidency. We further assess that Putin and the Russian government developed a clear preference for President-elect Trump. We have high confidence in this judgment. Now, there's the other agency, I can't remember which one it was, their assessment was moderately confident and high confident. Do you know what that means in intelligence speak? It means we don't know. It means we don't have any proof. We don't have any evidence. We don't have the evidence, so we can only tell you that we have high confidence. High confidence can be from things that people have said, people have talked about, but it means we don't have any evidence. For example, honey, will you love me forever? Well, I have high confidence that I do. And as recently revealed, Michael Rogers, the former NSA director, has been assisting John Durham's investigation into the origins of Crossfire Hurricane. Now this is who retired Admiral Michael Rogers, former director of the National Security Agency, has been cooperating with the Justice Department's probe into the origins of the counterintelligence investigation of the Trump presidential campaign's alleged ties to Russia, according to 4 people familiar with Rogers' participation. He is the former director of the NSA. Practically every single action, Russian sanctions, Obama's stare down with Putin, the Oval Office meeting with McConnell, Pelosi, Reid, and Ryan, the multiple agency investigations, the Situation Room meetings, the ICA, the MSM, anti-Trump campaign, can be placed on this source. There was intelligence that the Russian intelligence services were actively involved in this effort, and so therefore I felt as though the FBI investigation was certainly well-founded and needed to look into those issues. That came from John Brennan, the director of the CIA. And on this note, when Flynn's communications were acquired through the Kislyak FISA, Brennan's secret 6-agency working group investigated them after January 20th, 2017. So Brennan's involved in that. Also a reminder, when the Crossfire Hurricane team had its own funding stream within the FBI, after being designated as a major case by Comey, this included a secured room in the war room in the FBI headquarters, which needed clearance to enter. When Brennan handed over the intelligence to Comey in mid-August 2016, which crystallized the FBI's thought process around the time August 10th investigations and August 16th investigation was opened, Brennan and Comey started having many conversations throughout the summer. There's literally zero chance that Brennan and Comey knew nothing. They spoke about it constantly. They were completely in league with each other. The Situation Room attendees were aware of it. The Russian source responsible for all of it, long nurtured by the CIA. So, the fact that Comey said he wasn't involved, bullshit. Brennan is at the center of a lot of this controversy. The CIA is the one who brought in much of the information. And we still don't know. Now, the fact that John Durham brought in the former Admiral Michael, what the hell is his last name again? Michael Rogers. And now, let me remind you who Michael Rogers is, too. Michael Rogers was the person from NSA who went to Trump Tower and informed Trump that he was being, what's the word? He was being spied upon. Remember that? And so Trump moved his transition headquarters out of Trump Tower. That's who Admiral Michael Rogers is. Former head of the NSA. You know, the NSA that acquires phone records and emails, and basically they know everything that everyone on the planet. Well, they don't know everything on the planet does, but they have a record of everything that everyone in the United States does as far as communication. That's what the NSA does. In fact, I'm wondering if Adam Schiff got those phone records from the NSA. Good morning, Ebony. Good morning, Necrosol Collins. Anyway, so let's just say that old John Brennan was in this thick of Steve. Now, but a guy on here, his name's Shaka Shakur. He's a very good researcher. Real quick. Thank you, G Prime. Thank you, Rolling Bear. Thank you, Necro. And thank you, Tyler F. Again, that's repeating, for tweeting out the show. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. The Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please share the stream. Hit the like button. Do some super chats. There's surprises. I have surprises. $2.99, $3.99, and $4.99. Only the special ones I did. I don't know why I used those three, and I didn't make those little click buttons when you do Streamlabs donations, but that's okay. But there's all sorts of new animations when you do super chat. So you'll find out if you do them. He wasn't being spied on. It was covert surveillance. Completely different. Yes. Covert surveillance is completely different than being spied upon. Okay, so this dude, Shaka Shakur, he did a great, they had a debate on one of those, I think it was a Hotep Jesus channel with one of the Candace Owens acolytes, whatever. Smart dude. He lives in Las Vegas, but he is one of those guys who just is kind of into researching. And we started finding out about how TikTok, that app TikTok, you see the fucking TikTok ads all over Twitter, people doing lip syncing and stuff. And apparently it's anyway, TikTok apparently, what is it? U.S. Navy bans TikTok from government-issued mobile devices because it cites cybersecurity threat. TikTok is made by a company owner. The owner is called ByteDance. It's a Chinese company, and it currently faces a U.S. national security review regarding the acquisition of Musical.ly. So, not a good thing. Hey, Johnny Hellcat. Good morning. Anyway, Shaka did this this thread on Twitter also. First, he's talking about TikTok. I'm going to skip that part. But here's the thing. So, Prisma is a photo editing application that uses neural network and artificial intelligence to transform the image into an artistic effect. The app was created by Alexei Moisekov, who's Russian, and Oleg Pogayanov, Ilya Frolov, and blah, blah, blah. These Russian dudes. They did some... I'm not sure where that's the important part, but here. People that ran the spyware actually were tied to Russia and Ukraine with ties to all these players. Let's see. I'm going to skip down here. So Prisma investor and CEO of servers.com, Alexei Gubarov. That's this dude. And let's see. Let's see. So, and here it is. Russian tech exec sues BuzzFeed for publishing unverified Trump dossier. A Russian technology executive has sued BuzzFeed and its editor Ben Smith for publishing the unverified Trump dossier, calling it perhaps one of the most reckless and irresponsible moments in modern journalism. Within hours of the lawsuit's filing, BuzzFeed blacked out the name of Alexei Gubarov in the dossier on its site and apologized. So he's one of the people named in the Steele dossier. Fascinating. Alexei Gubarov and CrowdStrike and the DNC. Well, let's look at here. Alexei Gubarov, a Russian technology executive, has sued the firm CrowdStrike, which investigated the breach at the Democratic Party. So we got him and CrowdStrike in the same sentence. As we go down here, CrowdStrike, Dmitry Alperovich, a Ukrainian, chief technology and co-founder of CrowdStrike, which was contracted to shadow and run the DNC tech operation. So CrowdStrike was a contractor for the DNC, as we know. And then we got some more names here. Nationality, American Russian. He founded CrowdStrike, right? Obama also appointed CrowdStrike to the White House, tech administration, and the DNC. Why would he do such a thing? There's this receipts there. And this is where things get interesting. CrowdStrike president Sean Henry retired. Let's see. Sean Henry is a retired FBI executive assistant director, cybersecurity and computer crime. Here it is, president of CrowdStrike Services. Sean Henry is the president of CrowdStrike Services and CSO and a retired executive assistant director of the FBI. Henry has served in 3 FBI field offices and at the Bureau's headquarters is credited with boosting the FBI's computer crime and cybersecurity investigation capabilities. Is that why the FBI just took CrowdStrike's information? I don't know. And here it is again. It says Director Robert S. Mueller III has named Sean Henry as the executive assistant director of the EAD, Criminal Cyber Response Services branch. So he's a former FBI. Dmitry Alperovich, or whatever it is, writes an article called Bears in the Midst, Cozy Bears and Fancy Bear. This is June 15, 2016. Remember they started talking about Cozy Bear and Fancy Bear, and he just happens to write this article about this? He's from CrowdStrike. Bears in the Midst, intrusion into the Democratic National Committee. Dmitry Alperovich. That's what it is. And he's part of CrowdStrike, who writes the article. So if CrowdStrike was running cybersecurity for the DNC and it got hacked by Russia, why didn't they turn it over? The FBI. Why didn't the DNC turn everything over? Why the FBI never asked for access to hack computer servers? It's unclear why the FBI didn't request access to the DNC servers. Why did a private security consultant, rather than the FBI, examine their servers? Huh. The FBI doesn't even want the servers, so they can examine. Okay, that's a poorly written sentence. The biggest situation known, and the FBI is getting secondhand information from CrowdStrike. So anyway, yeah, funny that all those connections are pretty weird there, aren't they? Anybody? All right, I'm gonna move on. Oh, now I know I'm just randomly moving from thing to thing here, but this one I laughed at because this last weekend, Eddie Murphy hosted Saturday Night Live. And I've been watching bits from it on YouTube. There were some funny things in it. The opening monologue when he had, who came out? Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle and who else? It was a pretty good episode. But I wanted to show you something from the end, and I'm going to mute it because I don't want to get a strike on here. But he was at the end of the show. You know, they all get on stage, and the host comes out, and the host comes out and thanks everybody, right? I want you to notice something as he's doing this, and it was very disturbing to me. So he's up there with Lizzo and Usher and Chris Rock and Maya Rudolph and Alec Baldwin. I can't stand Alec Baldwin. Larry David back here, but watch this. He's thanking everybody on the show. Okay, I'm gonna stop it where the Maya Rudolph, a half black woman, is flashing white power signs. I am completely and utterly disturbed. In fact, I need to take let me take a screenshot of this. Hang on. We'll just take a screenshot of this. Maya Rudolph flashing white power symbols on. There we go. We'll save that. I'm saving that shit. In fact, I'm gonna call it white WP. I'll put it over here in my picture file. What the hell is Maya Rudolph doing? I think I should put that on Twitter. Look at that. Do you see it? Am I the only one who sees this? Am I the only one who sees this? That is highly problematic. All right, let's move on. What else I got here? Oh yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg showed up. I could have sworn. Isn't it supposed to be upside down? No, the circle game's when it's upside down and you have the show in the hole. But she's doing the straight up white power symbol, like the OK sign, like this right here. You see her doing that? Okay, Ruth Bader Ginsburg apparently. Well, I'm not 100% sure. She's not a victim of Weekends at Bernie's yet, but apparently Ginsburg hints that maybe, there's an article from Hot Air, hints that senators who can't be impartial in Trump's trial should be disqualified. Oh, really? That's interesting. The clip below is short, so it may be that her remarks are incomplete. But the point seems clear enough from the excerpt. The House indicts and the Senate tries. Should a trier be impartial? Of course, that's the job of an impartial judge, she says, adding that a judge who can't be impartial in the matter should be disqualified. Well, wait a minute. That's fascinating. Let's just watch the clip here real quick. They got it down here somewhere. Yeah, here it is from the BBC. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. That's really low. Hang on. Let's try this again. Here we go. That is so quiet. Oh, God. Hang on.
Should a trier be impartial? The House indicts.
Okay, you can probably hear it now.
And the Senate tries. Should a trier be impartial? Of course, That's the job of a judge, to be impartial.
Now, here's something interesting about that statement that really bothers me. Okay, now remember, impeachment is a political process, right? A political process for removing someone from evidence. So, it's going to be political. But here's the other problem. So the in-house indicts, right? But it's not the same as a normal type of indictment where you go out and get evidence of a criminal act and whatnot. And in this case, they don't have a criminal act in the impeachment articles. But here's the other problem. So the House still has to vote on impeachment. Now, should those people who vote on impeachment, which is the beginning step to send it to the Senate, well, shouldn't they also be impartial until they see the evidence? Because you would think that if that were the case, then the entire Democratic Party, for at least 40 or 50 of those judges who've been saying, or the people who voted to impeach, who've been saying since Trump was elected that he should be impeached without any crime whatsoever, or even before the Russian investigation was over, they've been saying he should be impeached since forever, right? So should they have been disqualified also, Judge Ginsburg? And also, a great number of the Democratic senators agree that, they're saying he should be removed from office, or they've been saying he should be impeached for months, for years. That's fascinating. What else did she say here?
As my
But
former-
The people are clapping. It's so funny how Trump derangement syndrome just makes you look past so many things.
you will be very aware that
You're right. They're jurors, not judges. The actual presider over the, at least per the Constitution, the Chief Justice of the United States actually presides as the judge in the so-called impeachment trial. But and I don't know, are juries supposed to be impartial too? That's a good point, though, Jason. They're not judges; they're jurors in the case. By the way, good morning, Seamus. I just saw you walked in. I think I said hi to Johnny Hellcat. Maybe I did. Hi, Johnny Hellcat. How you doing? Even if I said it already. All right, let's see what else she say. You'll be very aware that there are senators who are already saying
that there are senators who are already saying before the impeachment gets to the Senate or the trial in the Senate, they've already made their minds up. That's problematic.
Well, yes, on both sides of the aisle, too. Right? It's not just the Republicans who've already made their minds up. They've all been watching the congressional hearings. You think that's just the Republicans? See, that's the thing. People on both sides have already made their minds up. That's hilarious. Because this is a partisan impeachment. And it's a political process. So, what are you going to do? I don't know. Good morning, Chi-Town Jay. Good morning, Marsupio Gamer. How you doing?
Well, if a judge said that, a judge would be disqualified from sitting on the case.
And again, they're not the judge. They're the jury. The judge will be the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. They're not judges. They're just giving their opinion. Huh.
But it's about the level of accountability. So if a senator says, I've already made my mind up and the trial doesn't even exist at the moment, there is no accountability, is there?
No, there's not, because that's how the Constitution made it. What are you going to do? Who's going to tell them that they can't be part of the process?
My old Chief Justice Rehnquist, put it very well. And he said, the day a judge stops being impartial and starts to do things to please the home crowd, whatever your home crowd is, that's the day that judge should step down from office.
Oh, yes. And of course, the Now, this is someone from the BBC who's interviewing her. The problem is, again, the people who are saying they're not the judges. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Anyway, and like I've said, my personal opinion is this is what this is all about. This is everything that this impeachment is about. Because again, I told you too, Adam Schiff is now starting to go after Mike Pence. Now, it's kind of funny because no matter what he does, they're not going to judge and remove both Trump and Pence from office at the same time. And guess what? It's funny. Also, the Senate just approved another slate of judges. It's amazing. And no one seems to have complained about it. But the impeached president, supposedly, they just approved a whole bunch more of his judges. This isn't going well for them. And the number one thing this is about to me, and I'm positive it's about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, they do not want Trump and or Pence to be ready at the wait when Ruth Bader Ginsburg leaves the court, whether through retirement or even a worse way. And I certainly am not, I do not wish that on anybody. But I think she wants to leave the court, and the Democrats are desperate to get them out of there or get Trump unelected or just even use this as a way to hurt Trump in the next election. That's all this is about. It's all about Ruth Bader Ginsburg because they can't afford to have another judge appointed by a Republican. In their minds, that's what it's all about. It will be Weekend at Bernie's if she's lost via natural causes. Thank you. That's probably a better way to put it, Shiagrath. Thank you for giving me the words that I could not come up with. Oh, and then there's Adam Schiff. Apparently, Adam Schiff. I was going to say, speaking of natural causes, Thomas, speaking of penis, we're going to talk about Adam Schiff now. The human penis. Anyway, apparently Adam Schiff is unsympathetic to Carter Page, and he did an interview on the firing line, which I may dig up for tomorrow. Oh no, tomorrow's Christmas Eve. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to be here, but I don't know if I should be festive or just keep doing news. I know people prefer me doing news. Well, I'll do news for sure, but I got to do something festive too. Anyway, Adam Schiff did an interview on the firing line, which is a PBS show that's been around for a long time with Margaret Hoover. And hey, it's the gayest person on YouTube. How you doing? When God yeets her from this mortal coil. Okay. Adam Schiff said he doesn't feel any sympathy towards Carter Page. Listen to this and look. Her reaction is quite interesting to him saying this too. And I'll just, let's put this up here. Let me see if I can maybe I can go full size on this one. Anyway, check this out. This is Adam Schiff talking to Martha Hoover on the firing line.
Carter Page says that the FBI spying into his life ruined his good name. That's a quote. He also says that he will, quote, never completely have his name restored. Do you feel any sympathy for Carter Page?
Great question. Because the FBI screwed him over. Now, listen to Adam Schiff lie his fucking ass off here.
I have to say, Carter Page came before our committee and for hours of his testimony. Denied things that we knew were true, later had to admit them during his testimony.
Oh, like that he was a CIA asset? Maybe. Oh, and this isn't this ironic. The FBI went to the FISA court and applied for these FISA applications. And they said things that now all of us know are not true. And Adam Schiff wrote a memo after the Nunes memo said everything the FISA court was doing and everything that he said in his Nunes memo is correct. And Adam Schiff wrote a competing memo that we all knew, saying that what Devin Nunes wrote, we all knew Devin Nunes, what Nunes said was true. And later, Adam Schiff, you've had to admit you haven't admitted that Devin Nunes is right, but I think the hashtag Devin Nunes is right should have been trending ever since that Inspector General report came out. Knew we were true, but later had to admit them during his testimony.
It's hard to be sympathetic to someone who isn't honest with you when he comes and testifies on.
Oh, wow. Wow. And that's why they want Adam Schiff to testify before the Senate, because it's hard to be sympathetic. Who's going to come testify under oath, under lie? Look at her face, though. She's
Under oath.
Look at her face.
It's also hard to be.
Look at her face. She's like, what the hell did he just say? Look at her face again when he says this.
Denied things that we knew were true. Later had to admit them during his testimony. It's hard to be sympathetic to someone who isn't honest with you when he comes and testifies under oath.
Look,
it's also
she's like, say what? Gee, Adam Schiff, tell us about those FISA warrants again. Tell us about how that all worked out for you. Huh? It's hard to be sympathetic towards Adam Schiff because his head looks like a penis. Anyway,
it's hard to be sympathetic when you have someone who is admitted to being an advisor to the Kremlin.
But then was also informing the CIA.
yeah, duh. At least she knew. I'm glad she knew the question to ask. But he was informing the CIA. Now listen to him lie again.
Yes.
Which we didn't know about.
Who was apparently both targeted by the KGB.
Stop. You can read it right there on the screen. Who was apparently targeted by the KGB. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with that sentence? Anybody? Anybody tell me what's wrong with apparently that Carter Page was apparently targeted by the KGB while he was a CIA informant? Anyone? I'm sure by the time I got to give you some time because the chat takes a little bit to catch up. Chi-Town J, woo! You hit it first. The KGB has not existed since 1991. The KGB has not existed since 1991. Oh my. He said this in a public interview. What was this about? Wait, what was his line here? I have to say, Carter Page came before our committee for hours of his testimony denied things that we knew were true, but later had to admit them during his testimony. It's hard to be sympathetic to someone who isn't honest with you. It's hard to be sympathetic when you have someone who has admitted to being whatever. I'm going to finish that sentence because, wow, Adam Schiff, are you being honest right now? He was being targeted by the KGB? Oh my God, you're an asshole.
By the KGB, but also talking to the United States and its agencies. And that should have been included, made clear, and it wasn't, according to the Inspector General.
Woo! Adam Schiff. Oh my God, you are a lying piece of S. POS? Yes, POS. He's a POS. He's a POS. My God, dude, you got to be kidding me. All right, moving on. Oh, by the way, in the category known as winning, China to cut import tariffs on over 800 products starting January after a trade deal breakthrough. Oh my goodness, what? Now I was always skeptical of in the beginning of President Trump's whole trade policy. It always made me nervous, but you know what? I have to give the president credit. Okay. When it comes to the renegotiation of NAFTA or just scrapping of NAFTA and getting a new trade agreement with Canada and Mexico, the USMCA, which the Democrats are trying to take credit for. When it comes to negotiating with NATO and getting NATO countries to start paying their fair share or the share that they agreed to as far as their spending on military budgets, so we don't have to carry the whole frickin' world. And with China now, China to cut import tariffs. I'm impressed. I am impressed. I am just like, they've impeached this man who's no sound where? That has to be local because no one else complained about no sound. I have to give the guy credit. I am just like, they've impeached this man who's doing all this stuff. China to cut import tariffs on over 800 products starting in January after a trade deal breakthrough, according to a statement from China's Ministry of Finance. China is set to cut import tariffs for goods including frozen pork, pharmaceuticals, paper products, and some high-tech components starting from January 1, 2020. The move comes on the heels of U.S. President Donald Trump's comment on Saturday where he claimed. This is from Reuters. Notice how they say he claimed. Notice, they are such assholes. See, imagine if they're quoting Obama, would they have said he claimed or where Obama said they have a breakthrough? But with Trump, the move comes on the heels of U.S. President Donald Trump's comment on Saturday where he claimed that a breakthrough had been achieved in trade talks with China and that he expects the deal to be signed very shortly. If this were, and I get it, they hate Trump, they think he lies all the time, but this should read, the move comes on the heels of U.S. President Donald Trump's comment that a breakthrough had been achieved in trade talks. That's how it should read. And that he expects the deal to be signed very shortly. Anyway, how about you? Oh, there we go. Our first super chat of the month. I think, or no, of the week. Okay. There you go. We get a little Carlton dance on that one. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, with the $5 super chat. I just wanted to watch something dance for me. Merry Christmas. Well, Merry Christmas to you, sir. I appreciate the super chats. Yes, there are new dancing animations at different dollar amounts. Like I said, at between up to $2, up to $5, $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, all have different ones, and then up to $10, and then up to $20, and then the highest of the day, which I don't know why that wasn't the highest one of the day. That should have been the highest of the day animation, but anyway, thank you, Johnny Hellcat. Get to see a little Carlton dance and some funky music, right? Play that funky music. Oh, by the way, all of my super chat animations have some funk. Except one. There's one that doesn't, but you'll figure out which that one is. All right. Anyway, so yeah, winning. Apparently, Bill Cosby spokesman's a little bit pissed off at Eddie Murphy. I told you Eddie Murphy. He was on Saturday Night Live and he hosted the show. Well, he did a joke on Saturday Night Live that apparently the spokesman for Bill Cosby did not appreciate. Bill Cosby spokesman calls Eddie Murphy a Hollywood slave for his SNL appearance. Now, I know you probably don't know what this is about, but we're going to talk about it anyway. And have a pudding pop at the same time. A spokesman for Bill Cosby has fired back at Eddie Murphy after the comedian made jokes at Cosby's expense during his opening monologue on Saturday Night Live. Murphy compared his current situation to Cosby's, who's serving 3 to 10 years in prison after being found guilty in April 2018 on 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault for drugging and sexually assaulting a woman. What? He did what? At his home in 2004. Earlier this month. What? Copyright? Earlier this month, a Pennsylvania appeals court upheld the conviction. But Eddie Murphy. But if you had told me 30 years ago that I would be this boring stay-at-home house dad and Bill Cosby would be in jail, Murphy said to laughter, even I would have taken that bet. Who's America's dad now? Murphy added, impersonating Cosby's Cliff Huxtable, the sitcom character who was once often referred to as America's dad. In a statement released Sunday, Cosby spokesman Andrew White criticized Murphy for the jokes, saying it was Cosby who broke color barriers in the entertainment industry so that Murphy and other comedians like Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart could perform. Well, you know what? I don't know if it was Cosby who also drugged women and had sex with them without their personal knowledge or free will. So, sorry, America's dad, you did some stupid shit and you got thrown in jail for it. Murphy's jokes were disparaging, the statement said, adding, one would think that Mr. Murphy was given his freedom to leave the plantation so that he could make his own decisions, but he decided to sell himself back to the Hollywood to being a Hollywood slave. Now that's some incendiary shit to say. I'm sorry. That's messed up. And Bill Cosby's spokesman should be ashamed of himself. White's statement then appeared to accuse Murphy of perpetuating racial stereotypes by saying he was cooning and comparing him to Stepin Fetchit, the stage name of actor Lincoln Perry, who embodied racist cliches. Well, you know, he was making some jokes from the 70s because he brought on the show. He brought back Buckwheat. He brought back Velvet Jones. He brought back several of those characters. Gumby. Several of the characters he played in the 70s on Saturday Night Live with updated versions. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. The Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood sketch was funny to me. It was the first time that I really found a couple of the sketches funny. Anyway, it won't let me type what. Why the filter flame and filter censored. Good to filter. And a pudding pop. Anyway, so yeah, the Bill Cosby camp's a little salty. All right, I gotta get into Twitter trends before I run out of time here. So we'll skip. Let's see. Today. My other ones. Today is the 1-year anniversary of the First Step Act being signed into law by Donald Trump. Because of this legislation, many men and women get a second chance in life. I'm proud to have been a part of making history and work with wonderful people in the process. Yeah, there's the people who got involved in the First Step Act, including some Democrats. Van Jones was part of that group. So here's part of the working group. There's Van Jones. I don't recognize anybody else in here. But I know Jared Kushner was kind of instrumental. I know Kim Kardashian was peripherally. She's actually advocated for specific people to be pardoned and have sentences commuted or whatnot. But anyway, good for them. And then this one kind of pissed me off real quick, just to finish out. Brian Stelter quotes Andrew Sullivan from the Washington Post. An unceasing effort to be seen as neutral, journalists time after time fell into the trap of presenting facts and lies as roughly equivalent and then blaming political tribalism or not seeming to know the difference. And then this John Harwood, who now works for CNBC, a good description of the challenge for journalism. It's hard for reporters to say plainly that the Republican Party at this point in our history is fundamentally broken, but it is. Now, listen to this again. This is what Sullivan said. In an unceasing effort to be seen as neutral, journalists time after time fell into the trap of presenting facts and lies as roughly equivalent and then blaming political tribalism for not seeming to know the difference. Really, I'm trying to figure out what journalist he's talking about. What journalists have made an unceasing effort to be seen as neutral, especially when you're talking about someone who writes for the Washington fucking Post. Are you kidding me? Really? Okay, so if the journalists have been making an unceasing effort to be seen as neutral, how come all the major news corrections over the last 3 years have all seemed to just have gone in one direction? All those corrections, an unceasing effort to be seen as neutral. Covington Catholic, ever heard of that school? Unceasing effort to be seen as neutral. Jussie Smollett, ever heard of that? Unceasing effort to be seen as neutral. The Nunes memo? How many journalists were mocking Devin Nunes when he came out with his little memo regarding the FISA issues, and then championed Adam Schiff when it came to the FISA issues? Adam Schiff, everything they did, the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed and everything was perfect. But I don't remember any of these journalists getting on TV and saying, well, Devin Nunes was right. The IG proved that Devin Nunes was completely correct in his assessment of the FISA application problems and all the things. And Adam Schiff was just completely wrong. Ever hear it? Not once. But at all the corrections all year. Remember when they said that there was a report that Michael Cohen was instructed by the White House to lie? Remember that? And every news organization ran with it. And then Michael Cohen himself came out and said, no, that's not the case. And then Robert Mueller even came out of his little Russia investigation to say, no. We are not saying that happened. Funny, they all had to correct it. Every freaking correction over the last 3 years have gone in one direction. Unceasing effort to be seen as neutral. Who the fuck are you talking about, Andrew Sullivan? And Brian Stelter, of course. Spot on. It's spot on. You know, I know that I do everything I can to be neutral and try to be fair, but it's just so hard to be fair when I'm a sycophant for the Democratic Party and the Republicans always lie. So it's hard to just do my job as a journalist. And in this atmosphere in the Trump administration where journalists are always under fire and always in danger because, you know, he is so mean in his tweets about us that it could be a First Amendment issue because, you know, we just can't do it anymore. Oh my God. And CNN, Jeffrey Zucker, the head of CNN, basically has said that they're the anti-Trump network, that they're always going to talk about Trump because that's where the ratings are. Well, your ratings suck right now, CNN, because you don't do news. You advocate for one side constantly. Now, that would be fine if 90% of the rest of the news media didn't do that too. You know, granted, Fox News tends to advocate for the other side. But they do have journalists over there who aren't Trump sycophants. Thinking Chris Wallace, or they had Shepard Smith, but he quit. Holy Shiite Batman. All right, let's get into Twitter trends before I blow a gasket. All right, so the top thing. Oh, this is. It's not top anymore, but this is big news this morning. A couple of breaking news things. The CEO of Boeing is stepping down immediately. Don't know why. On Monday, Boeing announced that its chief executive is resigning immediately amid ongoing problems at the company. They've had their problems with a couple jets and whatnot. The board's chairman, David Calhoun, will officially take over for Muhlenberg on January 13th. Let's see if there's anything else down here. Resigns after a tumultuous year in which the 737 MAX plane and Starliner spacecraft encountered numerous problems. And so, yeah, he's stepping down immediately. I guess that's big news. Trending number 1 on Twitter is Christmas Eve. It is Christmas Eve. And that's why I started with a joke today. Good morning, W.R. Costin. I haven't seen you around in a while. I'm glad you're here. I'm sure you, I know you come and lurk occasionally. Anyway, trending, Merry Christmas Eve is trending number 1 on Twitter today because it is the eve of Christmas Eve. Stunning sunrise this Christmas Eve over Golden, Colorado. About to embark on a 21-hour drive to upstate South Carolina with Gizmo Navigator, whatever that means. But yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful sunrise. I'm not going to put the sound on, but look at that. Oh, that is the sound. Anyway, there's no music, so that's cool. So that's the sunrise over Golden, Colorado on this Christmas Eve. From the wise words of Phoebe Buffet, Merry Christmas Eve. Today's the 23rd of December. Not Christmas Eve, you absolute fucking idiots. Okay, some people are not happy about Christmas Eve. I like Christmas Eve. Oh, no, another one. Another one's kind of mad. It's the 23rd of December, not Christmas Eve, you hula-bobbing famalam nom bastards. Okay. I wish I was still a kid. I'd be buzzing so hard right now. Christmas Eve. And one more day till Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve. Okay. Since when has Christmas Eve become a thing? It's trending as number 1 in the UK. Anyway, here's a non-Christmas related photo of a rainbow over the tour, taken from a flooded field on the Somerset Levels. Happy Christmas Eve, Twitter friends. And there's your rainbow. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. All right, moving on. Number 2 trending on Twitter is, I believe it's something that has to do with the day, Monday motivation. Woo! These pics of Salman Khan. What the hell's that? I don't care about Salman Khan. Here's a Monday motivation. When you spend a lifetime being who people want you to be, it takes an eternity to discover who you truly are and who you were really meant to be. The longer you go down the road of impersonating someone else, the harder it is to get back to the real you. I don't know if that's motivation or depressing. You know what? What if you got stuck impersonating someone else? You never find the real you. That would be terrible. Jeez. What? This is some dude. Okay, I don't know what that is. Golden pheasants are usually hard to spot, even. What? 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 Oh, I gotta want the music because the music always gets me a thing. Golden pheasants are usually hard to spot, even in their native China. That's kind of pretty. Let's see what else. Come on, where's the words? Look at that. Look at that thing. That's a golden pheasant. Have you ever seen one of those? These colorful males stood out in wintry central Henan province. Oh, the females are black and white and the males are colorful. All right. Look at that. Look at that thing, man. All right, that's cool. I don't need to show any more of that. Anyway, okay, so Monday motivation. That's enough Monday motivation. Let's move on. Yeah, bah humbug to these motherfuckers. Boy, you're a meat one, Mr. Grinch. We already said that. We did that the other day. Oh, Happy Festivus is trending number 3. Apparently, the airing of grievances is today. Happy Festivus, please air your grievances below. To my Happy Festivus, to my observant friends, your grievances be few and your feats of strength be impressive. Thank you, Richo. Merry Christmas Eve. How you doing? I'm glad you're here. Hope I haven't missed anybody while I've done this. Nobody in baseball enjoyed airing grievances more than Earl Weaver. Happy Festivus, everybody. If you're not sure what Festivus is, oh my, even Pornhub. Pornhub Arya even is wishing people happy Festivus. Happy Festivus, y'all. Always was a fan of that Festivus poll. If you're not familiar with Festivus, that's from the Seinfeld show. They made up a holiday, and apparently people have decided that they're going to keep this up, the Festivus tradition of airing grievances and the Festivus poll. And speaking of Festivus polls, here's our first Twitter trend thought. One of the people who wait, hang on a second. I'm going to just do something here. I want to make sure that this is safe for work. Okay, it is safe for work. The Twitter thought, I call them Twitter trend thoughts, okay? They take all the Twitter trends and they put them in a tweet of them with themselves. Watch my new videos. You will come right away. Well, what if I just want to stay where I'm at? I would just prefer to stay where I'm at. No, I don't want to come right away because, oh, wait a minute. Did she? Oh, she meant, never mind. Okay, so yeah, Festivus is trending. Let's see, moving on. Monday thoughts we'll skip because we just had a Monday thought. Let's see, moving on from Monday thoughts. Number 5 trending on Twitter today is what women don't want from men. This should be interesting. It's trending under food, though. Why is it trending under food? You know, one thing that I know that women don't want from men, young guys, just let me hear me out. Okay, and I just tell you right now, it's probably going to be in this trend, but I can tell you right now something that women don't want from men, and that would be dick pics. Women aren't into that shit. I mean, at least, especially unsolicited. You know, that unsolicited. Please, nobody. Who? I don't even want unsolicited naked pics of women. Unless they're really hot. But women don't want your dick pics. Anyway, let's check out what's in this trend. We'll see if there's a couple funny ones. I'm afraid I don't want to get a not safe for work here either. What women don't want from men. Okay, this is Street Politics with Talisha. That's #feminist problem. Stop excluding the man. What women don't want from men, and you wonder why your sons are princesses. Oh my goodness. Feminist Twitter is at it again. What women don't want from men is trending. The hashtag could be an easy sales lift for a Zoloft sales rep. This is going to take forever. Okay. What women don't want from men, using the term babysitting when watching their kids. Well, you know what? Get over it. Whatever. I guess I never did that. My kids were my kids, and we raised our kids, and I'm just always say I was raising my kids. I never said I was babysitting my kids. I don't know do guys still say that? I don't know. What women don't want men. I don't want men to think their job, car, money, or jet chartering abilities impress me. Hold up. The jet chartering abilities, I would be impressed with someone's jet chartering abilities. So I'm just saying, only kindness, loyalty, humor, hard work, intelligence, reliability, etc. are impressive. Yeah, that's some women. Yes, some women are pretty excited about the jet chartering abilities. I'd be excited. Dude, jet chartering abilities, that means you... come on now. Anybody be impressed with that. I don't let men bankroll me. Rich or poor, an asshole is an asshole. Now, that's true. An asshole is an asshole. And this is the circle game, also known as hole. What women don't want from men. Mansplaining. Yay. obviously they don't want a Peloton for Christmas. Yeah, that Peloton commercial was kind of weird. I'm shocked that they actually put that out. Y'all know what we're talking about with the Peloton commercial, where the guy gives his wife a Peloton for Christmas, and she's talking about losing a little weight, and she's already like rail thin. Where are her organs? What women don't want from men: being forced into motherhood. Well, stop fucking. I said that out loud, didn't I? What women don't want from men: that 50s style attitude towards your thoughts, ideas, and abilities. You can just take that time machine of yours and send it back to there permanently. Thank you very much. You know what? I'm just curious. Who are all these 50s style attitude guys? Are they out there? I'm sorry. You know what? Everybody's evolved. You know what? And you're never mind. I was going to say, make me a sandwich, woman. Anyway, what women don't want from men: their opinions on reproductive rights. Well, I don't necessarily want your opinions either. Don't care. What women don't want from men: being grabbed by the pussy. Yes, he was telling a off-color joke when he said that. All right, yeah, enough of this shit. All right, moving on. Cosby's trending number 6 because the Eddie Murphy dust up. Oh, there's a story in the Daily Beast about it too. Murphy mocked the disgraced comedian during SNL. Now, I'm sure that I don't think there's not too many outlets that are going to be sympathetic to Cosby on this. I'm just saying. Ram Dass, spiritual leader Ram Dass dies at 88. Ram Dass, the American spiritual leader who helped begin the psychedelic movement in the late 60s, passed away on Sunday at the age of 88. Born Richard Alpert, Ram Dass wrote the 1971 influential book, Be Here Now. I'm not familiar with him other than the fact that he was he was a proponent of LSD. Look at that. Ram Dass, proponent of LSD and New Age Enlightenment, dies at 8. He lived to 88? Wow. Yes, I will be doing a show tomorrow on your Christmas day, Richa. Well, it depends. By the time, is it Christmas by the time? Oh yeah, you're in the morning, so it will be Christmas. It's like 4 in the morning there, right? Or 5 in the morning. I don't know what time it is. It's close to 4 in the morning where you live. So anyway, Ram Dass. I'm shocked that Ram Dass is still alive. He's kind of the like I said, he was into LSD. Dennis Muhlenberg. He's the CEO of Boeing that just stepped down. Marshawn Lynch is trending. The Seahawks. Oh. Apparently, Marshawn Lynch is Marshawn Lynch and the Seahawks are open to a reunion, and Lynch has told people he plans to travel to Seattle today to discuss it, sources tell me. Okay, so Marshawn Lynch the Marshawn Lynch watch is fully active. Yeah, he's a beast of a running back, but he has some controversial opinions and whatnot, but there you go. Good for him. All right, moving on. The Nazis are trending. Why the fuck are the Nazis trending? Please tell me there's... Okay, got some angry peeps, I see. The idea that FDR's New Deal saved us from the Great Depression is debatable at best. Yes, the Nazis were socialists. The greatest gen fought against totalitarianism in many forms, including this one. Okay, now this is an argument on whether or not the Nazis were socialists. And so, clearly, oh my God. If you actually read the writings of Hitler was I would say a disciple of Marx, but he holy shit. I'm going to dig some stuff up. Yes, they were socialists. Now, it doesn't mean that that doesn't make them, the same type of socialist as everybody else. Oh my God. So anyway, that's why Allie Beth Stuckey said they were socialists. So now everyone's ripping on her. No, the Nazis weren't socialist, genius. That was put into their full party name to fool German workers. The first people put in concentration camps were German communists, socialists, and trade union leaders. The USSR lost 27 million men fighting 5/6 of the German army. Oh, the Nazis. Okay. The Nazis put socialists into concentration camps. No, they put their opponent socialists in the. Oh my God. There's good arguments for both of this. Okay. This is. The woman who tweeted the stupid thing about the Nazis, Allie Beth Stuckey, was a Republican witness in Congress last month on abortion, in case you think you should take conservatives seriously. Yeah, well, oh my God. Watching Spaceballs for the first night of Hanukkah to own the Nazis. Also, this is baby yogurt to canon. Okay, I don't know what that. Anyway, the Nazis are trending probably because of that. Are other people talking it because of her? We aren't angry. We are mocking you. Nobody is mad at you. We pity you mostly because only an idiot writes off the New Deal did not end the Great Depression. That's a fact. Holy shit. And that's why oh my God. Sorry, the New Deal pretty much extended the Great Depression. Oh my God, that's a big argument. I know that, but yeah. Sorry, folks. She was responding to this article in the Wall Street Journal. Did the FDR end the Depression? No, he didn't end the Depression because he died in office. He got us out of the Great Depression. That's probably the most free. Okay, I can't watch. It's a Wall Street article. Okay, Wall Street Journal article. That's probably the most frequent comment made about President Franklin Roosevelt, who died 65 years ago today. He died 65 years ago. Oh, that was from April 12th. Every Democratic president from Truman to Obama has believed it, and each has used FDR's New Deal as a model for expanding the government. It's a myth. FDR did not get us out of the Great Depression, not during the 1930s, and only in a limited sense during World War II. I'm gonna bookmark this article. I'm putting this into Find Later article because we're gonna check that one out tomorrow. Yeah, no, FDR did not end the Great Depression. That's a huge economic myth, and you could make a cogent argument that the Nazis were socialists. Now, were they the same kind of socialists as the Soviet socialists? No, they had. But if you read, never mind. Fuck it. How I get people away from me. This is trending number 11. I just tell people to fuck off and go away. How I get people away from me. I ask if they've accepted Christ as their personal savior. Oh my God. How I get people away from me. Resting bitch face. Rihanna is good at that. I wear a MAGA hat. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know if this is a person who actually... is this a Trump hater or a Trump liker? Anyway, that's how you get people away from you. Another way, I tell them they're invading my personal space. I ignore them. It's time. Okay, I don't know what that say. That's if it feels like that cheesecake I had for breakfast and my lactose intolerance are having a get together in my colon. This should be fun. That's how I get people away from me. Okay. Bite, hitch, scratch. Okay. Stink eye is legendary. Telling the truth about themselves. People seem to not like that. You can't handle the truth. Okay, that's enough of that hashtag. Moving on. Max Keller. Oh, I'm sorry. Kremlin Kevin. Oh, gosh. Yes, they're saying that Kevin McCarthy, the Republican whatever, is oh, today would be a great day for Donald Trump, Kremlin Kevin, and all Nazis in the GOP to eat shit and go fuck themselves. Well, that's a cheery little greeting. What else? Kremlin Kevin is trending. Indicted Lev Parnas donated money to Kevin McCarthy. You know, here's what's funny about Lev Parnas. You know Lev Parnas, this guy that they've indicted, who probably is not going to have any problem. He's indicted on some campaign finance issues. Lev Parnas, they keep saying he's a Russian, which he's not. Lev Parnas is an American citizen. You dumb fucks. Indicted left partists donated money to Kevin McCarthy. McCarthy and most Republicans, it seems, are deep in Russian cash, which translates to influence. Why on earth is Russia, which only has the GDP of Texas, controlling our great republic? Hey, dumbasses! It's not! Lev Parnas is an American citizen. And tell me how Russia is influencing or controlling our great republic. We have, oh my God, even since Trump has been president, they've been fucking over Russia left and right. They've been you know what? Remember how Obama didn't give Ukraine any military hardware in that supposed aid that the third year of giving them the aid, we paused it a little bit, and that was supposed to be damaging to our national security. Remember that? Oh, the Obama administration didn't give military hardware to the Ukrainians. You think Russia's happy about the fact that we're giving the Ukrainians missiles? I don't think so. That's not very Russia friendly, but the Russians are controlling our great republic. Yeah, the Russians have, the Russians are the reason our stock market is so high. Wow, if the Russians are able to do that, hey, maybe we should hire the Russians to control our great republic. But they're not. That's the secret. That's the dirty little secret these fuckers don't want you to know. Don't ask me why I'm up so late Sunday night, vacation starting. Instead, ask why Kremlin Kevin McCarthy is getting so much money donations from Lev Parnas. Well, I see, the Fraud Guarantee Group, whatever. Kevin McCarthy, $2,700. So much money! Oh my God, that's not even over the donation limits for an American citizen. Lev Parnas is an American citizen. I don't know why, but good God, who gives a shit? Oh my God, Kremlin Kevin, that's cute. That's cute. All right, moving on. Jesus Christ, these people are fucking stupid. Jamal Khashoggi. Now, this was the breaking news from today. Okay? 5 people have been sentenced to death over the killing of Jamal Khashoggi. 5 unnamed people have been sentenced to death over the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, who was killed in 2018 inside Istanbul's Saudi consulate. 3 others have been given jail terms. Let's see if there's other court sentence. 5 to death. 3 others in prison for 24 years. Preliminary, not final. But the Prince Associate Al-Qahtani was not charged. Saudi Consul General in Istanbul is released. See the statement calling for targeted sanction of members of the Saudi leadership responsible for ongoing human rights violations and an independent international criminal inquiry in the Khashoggi killing. So anyway, that was breaking news this morning. They sentenced 5 people to death, and then 3 more people have been given 24 years in prison in the death of the Washington Post journalist. Moving on, Max Kellerman is probably, why is he trending? He's a let's see, host of Skip Bayless, Max Kellerman, and Ryan Hollins passing around terrible sports takes. I don't know. What did he say today? What did he say? Well, here's the trending things. Carson Wentz banged Max Kellerman's ex-girl. Changed my mind. Apparently, he said something. Let's see. I would legit hate to debate Max Kellerman's smug-ass face. Dude legit trying too hard to be a villain. Look it up. Skip Bayless' contract is almost up, and ESPN wants him back, so Max is in overdrive like a female with a flat ass and no chest. Oh, my God. Oh, he said something bad about the Eagles. That's what it is. This is because the hashtag Fly Eagles Fly, or this is an Eagles fan. Apparently Kellerman said some shit about the Eagles. Skip about to have an aneurysm right now, and Max Kellerman gonna blow a gasket in 15 minutes. I get to see it live. Oh, here we go. Max Kellerman doesn't think Carson Wentz deserves credit. Oh my God. Let's see this.
Somebody's lying. Somebody lies.
Yeah.
Now somebody, I don't know who, but I'm telling you, somebody's lying.
They enlarged his head. His head is not really that big. That's not Max Kellerman either. That's what's his face? Anyway, okay, Max Kellerman said something bad about the Eagles, and Eagles fans are not very forgiving. All right, we're gonna move on from this. We're almost done. Beast Mode. That's a nickname for what's his name? The running back from Seattle, that Marshawn Lynch. Beast Mode is his nickname. That's why he's trending. He's already trending up higher or something else. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, because today is Christmas Eve. Just realized tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and I'll be here alone. Oh, again. Then I get scheduled my first cancer screening since being diagnosed for a few days after my birthday. I'm sad, but I'm alive. Well, we're glad you're alive, Stephanie Sparkles. I don't know who you are, but that's kind of sad. I can't believe tomorrow's Christmas Eve already. What in the... Am I the only one who isn't feeling this holiday season? LMAOS, lettuce, mayonnaise, something, and onions. Anyway, tomorrow's Christmas Eve, and they got a K-pop group in my feed. Dink. Bye. Okay, and then Merry Christmas Eve. Christmas Adam. Christmas Adam? Merry Christmas Adam, everyone. What is Christmas Adam? Happy Christmas Adam. Merry Christmas Adam. For the joyous occasion, I would love for you to share your screenshots of being blocked by Curtis Lepore because you called him a rapist. If you haven't already done it, do it on this blessed day. I'll go first. What the hell? Today is Christmas Adam. Today is the only day I rise to my full power. I am unstoppable. Today is Christmas Adam, cause Adam came before Eve. LOL, I'm hilarious. Oh, I didn't get the joke until just now. It's Christmas Adam, and tomorrow is Christmas Eve. That's freaking hilarious. Okay, okay. Is that... Okay, you can go ahead and say it. You can go ahead. I'm not even going to do the last one. It's Victory Monday, which has to do with the NFL. It's Christmas Adam. You got to be kidding me. It's Christmas Adam. All right, y'all. I got to go. I appreciate y'all being here on the Morning Night Live. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 3 p.m. GMT. Before you go, if you haven't done so already, please, please, please hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the Streamlabs. Thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for the lonely, one and only super chat of the day. I appreciate that. And I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, too. All of you. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. I will be here, same time, same channel. I will be here Christmas Eve. I will even do a show Christmas Day because you know what? I am here for you. And tomorrow will be our Christmas Eve show. We'll see how many show up. I mean, a lot of you don't work on Christmas Eve, and some of you don't. Most of you don't work on Christmas Day, so there's no excuse not to come by in the morning, unless you got some traveling to do. If you're traveling, please travel safely, and if you got some cooking to do, please cook safely. We don't not want any grease fires on the stove. I'm making a huge pot of chili tomorrow because that's our Christmas Eve tradition. Chili, and my wife makes a whole bunch of appetizers and dip. I'm excited. I love making chili. I make really good chili. I really do. And that's it for today. So thank you so much again for being here at the Morning Night Live. Hey, I got to do outro. So I'm going to be playing that right now because my name is P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.